Alright guys, so we're heading to the last of the round 1 games for TWC 11's main event, and we've got ISanych versus Despiron in a Mongol mirror. So, see both our players shifting these to the wood lines and to the gold mine. Ooh, Despiron could have put his a little bit further over and actually had that on the gold mine as well. So, fairly inconsequential mistake. Oh, he not actually rallied that second sheep, so he needs to manually rally that one. Well, he's going for an Ovu. ISanych taking his Ovu. Despiron only starting his food eco now. He's also looking at starting his gold eco. Actually got that villager producing any building yet, but should be on the way. Oh no, he can't afford it because he needs 100 for a Gur. So he's going to throw that down now. Transferring off the wood now that he's got the wood for another Gur, even though I don't think he... Oh no, that's ISanych that's still gathering wood, so... ISanych needs to transfer his Vils because he's not going to have enough to actually train Vils here. So both these guys with some minor eco mistakes already. Despiron having that villager park there for ages before it throws up the Gur. ISanych getting caught with not enough food to actually... Man, come on, just drop it off. Go on, queue it up. Yeah, guys, if you're like 10 or 20 short and you've got like 5 or 6 gatherers, just wait till they get about halfway through and then drop off. Don't worry about dropping off all the way because it's going to cost you time. You need to cram out those early villages. Like, downtime in your villager production is like single-handedly the #1 killer of lower elo players. Like, they'll go for some flashy build, they'll copy the hell out of fucking a sick build by fucking Hut or by Marine Lord or the Viper, but then the problem is they spend half of it either housed or not training villagers, and then the whole build falls apart and they're 3 minutes late on the actual timing push. Or they've got half the units. So both these guys will just be working towards their age up. And this pasture already here for ISanych, who's got it rallied towards the town centre. So you want to put the pasture in range of your starting Ovu because it'll be producing sheep at double the speed. And then, I mean, I think later on you can always throw up another pasture at another Ovu later on. Although oftentimes players probably won't even bother doing that unless they're like top end players. Despiron probably should be gathering from this closer tree just to save himself that little bit of walk time. So another thing, guys, if you've already chopped down a tree, or even if there is a closer tree to chop down, a lot of the time it's more efficient to get the closer gathering out of the way. They continue that little bit of distance gathering. Obviously, these are really quite minor things, more 1%er eco things, like getting your eco techs down, making sure you're not missing villages. Obviously, more important skills, but even just being aware of when you're distance gathering when you don't need to be is a good thing. Like, say you've got 8 villages or 10 villages stacked up around the gold mine here, and there's some wrapping around here. You can always throw down a second Gur, or slightly shift your initial Gur, or slightly shift how you got your villages stacked up on the gold mine to gather that a little bit more efficiently. So ISanich's going to whittle down Despiron's villages. Well, I don't know if Despiron's really going to get the chance to do the same, considering ISanich's TC's just slightly better positioned. So Despiron could have had this a little bit further over. For now, ISanych slowly chipping away at his villages until Despiron brings his own Khan back. But now, I think ISanych... Oh no. Yeah, Despiron's already got the deer stones on the way. Thinking, oh, I don't really need the gold anyway. It's got wheelbarrow on the way. Has enough for survival techniques. Actually, So, doesn't quite have enough survival techniques. Still needs another 20 gold. At least he's got wheelbarrow on the way. Isanich's gathering quite a bit of gold because I think he might want to go for either like the food, the wood, or the gold tech. He's banking 200 gold already. Despiron stopping his gold gathering. In the wake of just gathering food and wood at the moment. And he's got a lot of stone. Obviously neither player making use of the ovus so far, other than for their pastures, so they're just banking up that stone. They'll be able to throw up their production facilities around the ovu, or even throw up some tech, throw up buildings for tech around the ovu. So range going down for Despiron. ISanych slightly slower in his age up time, but he's going to be able to cram in some eco tech. He's going to get horticulture. He's going to get his own range. So, Despiron's not built his inside ovu range, but he's got the stone to be able to just cram out the extra units out of the ovu bonus. So, just archers for Despiron. ISanych might actually save for Mangdai. Gonna need more food and gold to do so, but he's still gathering a lot of gold. Well, Despiron's still not gathering any gold. Despiron's realizing, oh, I've got Novu, so I can actually move this. Well, he's lost his Khan somewhere. He's lost his Khan trying to scout its opponent, while ISanich's still just keeping an eye on that gold mine. Scout here. Can we check things out? It's actually gonna deny placement. Oh, this is really smart from ISanych. He's going to deny so much placement time here. And again, so Despiron's not going to be able to actually place the oh my goodness. Despiron's not going to get a chance to put down this archery range. But he's got a stables. He's adding Gers around the ovu though, so I'm not sure if that's a good idea, because I mean he really probably could have shifted the range further around. Tried waiting for his opponent to just have a bit of a lull so he can actually fit this. He's gonna get it in now. No, it's not gonna be able to because the scout stuck to it. So ISanych is denying so much train time potential here, and Despiron's is banking shitloads of wood anyway behind this. He really needs to gather a lot of food, maybe even get some gold so he can get some eco techs on the way. And so ISanych hasn't really got anything in production at the moment. He needs to get a bit more wood to be able to train age 2 units. Actually, Mega Dives are food gold, aren't they? So the range finally goes down. ISanych has denied so much train time potential there. Not that either of these players are gathering the greatest to be able to actually keep units in production anyway, but range has lost a third of its health because that scout just camped it, prevented it from building. And now ISanych, well, Despiron's in hot pursuit of ISanich's Khan. He wants to get a bit of revenge after dropping his Khan earlier. And he will do so. Yeah! So the scores are even at 1 kill apiece. But Despiron's got a lot more on the map at the moment compared to ISanych. Man, this distance gathering is hurting to watch. Like, there's a Gur over there. Why is it not over here? There's triple pasture. But I mean, this ovu is not going to last forever, and eventually they're going to halve in the speed, and you're going to have to drop another 3 over here or another 2 over there. So you might as well get on the hunt and save yourself the wood, having to invest in so many pastures. Even still, 1 or 2 is nice. There's one over here anyway, right next to the town centre. For AoEIV. But they are a little bit more expensive than a Ger, I believe. So Step Redoubt. Yeah, pasture 150, Ger 100. So you do save yourself a little bit by going for the Ger instead. And you can always shift your existing Gers to get on hunts. Meanwhile, AoEIV has mustered up a nice force here. More of an army than Despiron at the moment. Or Despiron. Actually, Despiron should have the units to be able to deal with this, but didn't bring everything. So now he's sort of forced to disengage, but he should be alright too. Meanwhile, he's going to lock down these berries, but there's some fairly safe-ish hunts for his opponent. So AoEIV just retreating, going to castle. He's got his Step Redoubt, which he's actually going to have to move. But it's probably a good idea having built it in a safe location and then just being able to shift it. So the perks of being Mongols is you can even move your landmarks. How overpowered is that, man? Oh, it's a mirror. Doesn't matter. But man, this Ger over here. I mean, I understand if it's for eco tax, but when you're not getting them, either move it back here or build another one back here, because this distance gathering slowly hurting Despiron and his wood income, while AoEIV has not quite chopped as far through and already got to go there. And I mean, you can always move on up here to take eco tax if you feel you need to, if you really want to get an advanced eco tax. So if you get the improved versions of the tax, you're going to get 20 rather than 15% increase. And then for forestry, it actually, I think, quadruples rather than doubling the rate. So it actually makes forestry extremely strong in terms of the gather value. And then on top of that, it also makes it really good for cheesily being able to get through walls, because you can bring like a single villager and just chop each tree down, like a tree every bloody second, cut through opponent's walls really, really quickly. Lancer versus 15 bowmen, and the Lancer is going to be able to back out fine, because Lancers, like Knights, being heavy melee, just completely going to blindside a light ranged unit. At this stage you're going to need crossbowmen to really be able to punch holes in the armour. There we go. After great difficulty, 1,000 resources worth of units bring down a single 250 resource units. Man, the more I play this game, the more I love crossbowmen, the more I just hate archers. Like, fuck, archers are useless. People reckon horsemen are useless. Nah, man. Archers are fucking useless. Alright, you buggers are out of a job. Age 3s roll round. Pack it up and go home. Tell your mate the crossbowman to get in the field. It's pretty much how it feels. Once Age 3 kicks in, or once French or Rus field Age 2 knights, it's like, well, fuck. My Age 2 ranged is useless now, even if I am English. We might have a bit of a melee go down here. Good Lancer count here for AoEIV. Well, there's only a couple of horsemen, plenty of bowmen here for Despiron, but fighting at home, I mean, he's going to probably lose some of this production, and it's going to slow down his ability to get some of these nice crossbowmen to really pack a punch, but at least he is getting crossbowmen. So 2 crossbowmen. No crossbowmen yet for AoEIV, but I hope he's actually cancelled. Oh, he's getting more crossbowmen. Come on, man. Cancel him. Like, crossbowmen are nice for picking off spears, but unless your control's good enough to pick off individual spears in a fight like that, so archers are good at picking off spears, but yeah, you're just better off with crossbowmen because they're just going to deal more damage to everything else. Well, they're going to deal more damage full stop. So ISanych definitely has the front line advantage here, but even when he tries to get his stuff on his opponent's back line, it's hard because there's 17 Vils garrison in that main town centre for Despiron, so he does have a nice defender's advantage here. But I think ISanych overall was wholly successful with that push because I think he really won the armor value, forced 17 villagers to garrison there. There's another 3 villagers idle here for Despiron, so ISanych pulling a hidden score at the moment. And Despiron's not really got a lot of value out of these towers. I think ISanych must have burned that down because I think Despiron actually finished it. So Ovu's going to deplete for our players. Oh, but that's right, they still actually have that boost, sorry. I thought it actually destroys it. Never mind, it just depletes, but it still gives you the bonus. That shows how much Mongols experience I've got. Man, I don't like them. Oh, there we go, it does destroy, like 30 seconds later. I thought so. But anyway, oh no, that's right, because they're going to shift it. That'll be why. Fair enough. So it doesn't destroy until you actually build a second one. Then you lose the bonus. Now you've got to rebuild an Ovu. I mean, well, now you've got to rebuild stuff at the Ovu, shift it all across. At least. Which takes time, control. But ISanych mounting a massive push on Despiron here. He's up by about 10 population, but Despiron's on 55 workers to ISanich's 53, so actually it is all an army. But now Despiron's forcing him back, so this time defender's advantage really kicking in, and the fact that he's transitioned across bowman while ISanych is still making archers. So even though he's invested in the veteran upgrade, these guys still are only dealing about half the damage of the crossbowmen. They might have slightly more attack speed, and I think might have slightly more range, but particularly when there's any melee on the field, just so much better off with the crossbowmen. Especially now both players fielding lances. So look, these crossbowmen make really short work, while the bowmen need 3 or 4 goes at the knights to really pick them off. I mean, even though there is a slight unit count and army value advantage here in Despiron's way, he's just really going to eat up his opponent, and ISanych running away from a single lancer there just because probably by the time he sticks around to kill it, Despiron can turn around and shit on his army. But ISanych mustn't be gathering as well behind this, and Despiron had a slight Vil lead because the score count has really evened up in favour of Despiron. So, but Despiron's actually banking a lot more gold that he doesn't really need to make use of at the moment, that he could just transfer some villages onto his other resources. He's got plenty on food at the moment though, that's good. So ISanych, in the meanwhile, a lot of wood gatherers, and he's still making archers and spears to actually complement his lances, and this is going to be terrible for him the longer this goes on, because Despiron's pretty much well and truly transitioned just to crossbowmen as his backline. As I've said all game, and in half of my other casts recently, crossbowmen. Crossbowmen over archers. Because look at this, these guys are going to shred this front line. Like, even though there's a good number of man-at-arms here, good number of knights, there's basically no man-at-arms to front line here for Despiron, but he's got a much more serious back line. All these bows, well sorry, these archers at this point in the game, basically dead population. It would be for every civ, even English, until they get the arrow volley upgrade, because it's 70% increased attack speed. And then on top of that, if you're fighting under outposts, you're going to get another 15%. Oh no, 25%. So without literal double attack speed boost, crossbowmen are going to eat longbowmen up. It's only with double attack speed boost, it's just because longbowmen are slightly cheaper than crossbowmen at, what's it, 80 v 120. It's only, yeah, when you've got both the English only longbowmen, mind you, normal archers just can't compete. Because they'll also have the attack range advantage. But yeah, basically the only time bows ever outshine, well, archer units ever outshine crossbowmen is, like I said, fully upgraded English longbows with both the arrow volley upgrade and, I mean, both arrow volley spell and the network of castles buff as well. So under any other situation, these crossbowmen... Sorry, I should stop rambling about crossbowmen. I've talked about them for like 5 minutes now. And we're not even getting to really see them in action because, well, we sort of are. Like, just how quickly the knights are being cleaned up is really only because there's a heavy hitting range backline. So, Despiron's worked himself into a bit of a macro advantage over AoEIV at the moment. And does have that better army comp. But AoEIV took some really nice fights in the early game. Had his opponents on the ropes, but both players up to 2 town centers, and I think Despiron's was slightly faster. In terms of armory, where are your armories, boys? Oh, here we go. So there is double armory production here. And yeah, crossbowmen make this very difficult for any melee to engage. Even more so than any number of these bowmen. So there's a mangonel here as well in production. But even with mangonels, I don't know if this is going to be enough. AoEIV, I think he's going to be in the back foot with a lot of these fights. Despiron's actually managed to outboom him slightly as well. So it's always nice when you're looking to take a fight, is to just have slightly more shit than your opponent's shit. Because it doesn't matter if you slightly miss micro something, because you've got units to spare, and he doesn't. But mangonels finishing off. The fact that half of the army's going to be building them while this fight goes down is not going to be good for AoEIV. He's got all this infantry trying to race out this mangonel. I mean, it is nice to have the mangonels, but Despiron's going to slit up his bowman slightly, and it should be enough that the mangonels aren't really going to break his backline before he eats AoEIV's front line here. Oh, I could be wrong actually. It's some nice area damage from the pair of them now that they're both up. And now that these man-at-arms are covering for AoEIV, but now Despiron has really whittled down the front line, and we've got archers versus crossbowmen with only a handful of melee in pursuit as well. And now the crossbowmen are going to get out mostly all low, but with use of the staggered formation and slightly splitting them up, Despiron mounting a nice trade there. I think he came out slightly ahead. The outpost does have the springald attack though, so fighting underneath that probably made the difference for AoEIV. And the fact that he did have one mangonel up in time, that second one wasn't too late. I was a bit worried it would be too late for him, but he did manage to make it work. But right now, Despiron's got a really scary army, just really needs to replenish his front line, while AoEIV sort of needs to bump up all his units at the moment. Despiron's still maintaining about a 25 pop lead. But we had about that going in the last fight, so perhaps he didn't come out of it as well as I thought he did. And AoEIV evening up the scores just about at the moment. So we can get a third mangonel. We can get a little bit more of a backline, because again, he's only got 9 veteran archers. He's only got 6 crossbowmen. It's a scary backline, so Despiron's added in some archers just for filler at the moment, but it's not too many. Again, his backline is still mostly crossies, and he's going to leave everything in staggered formation, knowing that he's going to be engaging a handful of mangonels. There's not really anything in the way of a lot of map control going down, but Despiron is trying to pinch some relics. Where's his monastery? He is going to try to take an engagement. So, you know, he is going to back off a little bit, but he's sent a shaman. The deer stones, which one? Yeah, prayer tent, here we go. So he's got one relic in possession, and he did have... Oh, he's brought back that other one. No, here it is. So we've got 2 relics for Despiron. Is there a prayer tent here for our other friend? There's a 3rd town center for ISanych, so he wants to try and outboom his opponent here. Despiron only on 2 at the moment, but does have those relics. But they're going to be fighting under Springled Tower of Despiron's here, and on top of that he's a slight cavalry speed advantage, but he doesn't have any cavalry, but it doesn't really matter. He's got stacks of man-at-arms here. He's split up his range quite well, and I don't know if Despiron's going to have ISanich's going to have enough to keep pushing here, because Despiron desperately bringing some villagers up to try and force the mangonel back, and he's doing great work because this is really costing ISanych some attack shots here, and now ISanych going to be pushed to under his outpost. So both these outposts have got the Springwood upgrade, but this one is already half dead, and Despiron just has so many units over ISanych at the moment. So 196 pop to 107. I don't know if ISanich's going to be able to get out of this. He's going to train like an absolute madman to get through this, and he's going to drop a mangonel, another expensive unit for him falling. So every Lancer and every mangonel falling for either player at this stage of the game, absolutely huge because they're so much more expensive than the other units on the field. Despiron gonna go for Sacred Possession. He's up to 2 relics, and I think he might even try grabbing some more. And he's streaming everything he's got across the map because I think he knows he can put the final nail in the coffin here unless ISanych plays this perfectly and somehow counter raids him along with being able to defend through this, but he just doesn't seem to have the units to be able to mount a counter raid while defending. Hasn't really got anything in the way of towers. Got these town centers that he's fighting in the middle of, but he hasn't really got any villages garrisoned in them to actually deal damage back. So I mean, if he had 10 vills in each of these, 10 vills in this, he probably could force Despiron to take a bit of an uncomfortable push, but as it stands, oh, this is nice positioning of the mangonel, but it is eventually going to fall because it does have units all around it. It's going to get one more shot off. It does pick off 3 or 4 crossbowmen, but there's another mangonel up here trying to hide away. GG is called. I was going to say you could rally some villagers and pick them off, but there's already more man-at-arms to support. And so Despiron going through against ISanych.